Hi, it's Chastia, and it is May 4th, 2025, and I'm doing this live right now on TikTok. We've been busy completing the mission. And so, hi, I'm Chastia, and I'm an astronomist and a primordial awakened being. And I have not been on a live, and I am planning on downloading this maybe to YouTube. We'll see how it rolls. Hey guys, I'm alive. To all the people that follow me, it's Sunday morning. I got chills all over my legs right now. It's May 4th, which is a big deal. Just within the journey and the puzzle pieces on how this whole thing works. So right now it's 10:58 a.m. and we've got a couple on, but this is what's so beautiful about how all this works, man. You really don't need that many to do anything. So with the 3 that are coming on and the 4 of us that are on right now all over the world through the technology, synchronizing our frequencies through TikTok, synchronizing our frequencies through the cosmos on 3 different layers, synchronizing our energies down into the base roots of your field, not necessarily the ground. So if we'll just all take a deep breath, picture your head getting filled up with stars. Picture your head expanding into the cosmos. And then whenever we breathe down, pull that cosmos through your spine, have it come through your third eye, and picture it going down into your spinal cord. And then picture it turning your coccyx to whatever it needs to in your mind to link in those last 2 vertebrae. And then as we're blowing out the final blow, I want you to push as much as the air out of your lungs that you can. And when you get to that state where you're like, I don't have any more air, I don't have any more air, I want you to think about that coccyx cable just clicking in. And for that, the last pieces of air that you're like, you're pushing, you got to push, 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 push. Those last pieces of air, I want you to picture the bottom of your feet and your whole, because you went out to the cosmos, and I want you for that energy to come through your body, out your coccyx, and hit the bottom of your bubble. Not necessarily the roots, not necessarily a tree, not necessarily a mountain. We've got 6 on, so that's 7. We're going to do 3 breaths. I'm going to walk you through it if you're just coming on. So we're going to take a deep breath. We're going to blow. We're going to hold it for 3 counts. And then we're going to push. When we breathe in, we're going to expand to the cosmos. We're going to have it go in our third eye. We're going to connect it into our core. And then we're going to push that air out as hard as we can. It's going to go in through the bottom, and it's going to set you up by the second breath into a figure 8. Then we're going to do it again, and in that final 3rd breath, we're all going to connect our energy bodies to the highest and the lowest to anchor it, all of us merging in like a gummy bear inside a gummy bear inside a gummy bear inside a gummy bear. By the 3rd breath. We've got 7 on, 11:02, 2:02. Everybody blow out your air. In. Now blow out. Coming into third eye. Push. In. Hold. Out. In. Hold it. Out. Now just breathe naturally. Everybody kind of get into a baseline. See if let me know if you feel anything shift. It usually takes a couple of minutes when we're dealing with energy this strong connected to the cosmos. I don't know if y'all see this little bubble right here. I don't know where it came from. I can't get rid of it. I'll have to see if it's on the playback. Today is May 4th. Now, for those of everybody needs to remember, and anybody that thinks that they know something about anything, any consciousness that you've had come in about the cosmos, about the planet, about the Anunnaki, about star people, about alien people, about Native American prophecies, the end of days, any type of religious idols, any type of religious prophecies, they all connect. They all connect, and you got to remember, this was a human experiment. All of us, every single one of us, we're in a human experiment. We signed up to come in and be in the human experiment. There's a hierarchy in it, energetically. Because there's just certain DNA lines and just certain energies that have been here longer. That's it. The ones that have been here longer, and I'm one of them, and I'm a primordial being. Now, some people get triggered whenever you start talking about yourself, but this is where everyone needs to freaking get over it. It doesn't even mean that you're not going to hit that stage. It just means that you might not get the primordial energy when it first comes in. Because once a primordial energy hits, it's changing every single other physics layer throughout space-time. Just because maybe you haven't been getting the primordial knowledge of what's going on inside the core of the planet, and be the ones that were hybridized to high hilt and sacrificed ourselves into the system because we knew that we could become nothing and still magnetize back together. That's what primordial is. The primordial energies of the planet are the lines and the DNA lines that every single human down here, I don't care where you came from, I don't care. I don't care what color you are. I don't care where you live. I don't care if you think that you've been in China your whole life and your whole lifetimes. And so you think that you're just from China because it happens to be where you are now. Or you just happen to think that you're in Russia, so you're Russian because just now in this lifetime you're Russian. No. Is not how it works. Not when you're coming out of a simulation that was after death and it was all, you were walking around on your ancient ancestors, whether you knew it or not. You wouldn't be alerted that you were walking around on your ancient ancestors until the whole thing is going to come up for terraforming. You're not even going to be we were unconscious to that we were walking around on our ancient ancestors because we were walking around on ourselves in a deep way. And the human race was all made at the same time. We all should be a more kind of tan color. This is why people, because your primordial beings, We're attached to every single human race down here. I even have the time counts. Whenever I'm actually getting the promotion that I need, that where I'm supposed to be to tell people what's going on, I've got the data. I can tell you how long we were under China, how long we were under Russia, how long the spell was on Texas and California. I can tell you how long we were under New Orleans. Because you're in the core of the entire planet, attached to the entire cosmos and every planet that's in the ring, like a pearl necklace. You know how the celebrities were wearing the pearl necklace. What's a pearl necklace about? Well, I'm telling you at the base root what it's about. It's the G core. There's a G core inside every single planet in astrology. Where's Earth in astrology? It's not on there. Earth is basically being made by all the other planets active with the human race. And in a weird way, Earth becomes the one right in the middle, the circle in the middle, that everything's balancing. Because when we talk about GAIA, is GAIA, and if you understand the lineages of the beings that were in the planet that created this pearl system over time, and then you realize that Thoth is Mercury, and so that whole character is Mercury connected into one system. So Thoth is the mind, Mercury is controlling the mind. Mercury and Loki gets crap done, but man, it's always pow, 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 pow. Change, right? And sometimes he falls off and gets a little too shadowy because he can do too much, because in that system, he's Mercury. Well, your religion program set that up. All of our religious programs throughout the period, throughout space-time, every single one of them. Every single one of them. I don't care what they are. I don't care where you are around the world. Your base religions were setting up you as a planet. So then over time, these religions and these planetary deities, because we used to call them deities and we used to call them gods, but all it was an archetypal and a way for the human to understand the properties that planet creates with the human race. This is why over periods of time, we've had deities, we've had gods. It wasn't to promote the god. It was for you to see the God in you. Because you don't need the gods. You don't need the planets. We're going to an energy where they're not in a circling anymore. The planets only show up when terraforming has to happen for the human race to activate, change frequency, and then their reality change to fit them, not the other way around. You take the most ancient tree frog. You go to the Amazon and you capture the most ancient tree frog, and then you take it back to the lab, and then you start splicing and cutting it up and da 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 da. What's happening in the forest? The frog ain't in the forest. Frog's somewhere in a lab. What's happening in the forest while they're changing the frog? This is that whole chicken and hen thing, chicken and the egg. What comes first, the chicken or the egg? Well, you can go round and around and around and around with that one, even whenever you start understanding how the animal buffer layer, because humans make an energy, animals make an energy, plants make another energy. We call these atmospheres. We call these the sky. We call these dimensions. Over time, the animal kingdom, the plant kingdom, the human race started merging more together, you know, just like if you go take mushrooms and you think that you're going to completely activate your mind because you're taking mushrooms. Well, you're completely activating it to a plant consciousness. You're not in a human consciousness. You might see some crazy crap, but it's from a plant's perspective. It's not from a human perspective. And whenever you have a human race that's going through a process that no one on the planet knows is happening, because it's time. And so there's a rebalancing that's taking place, and what the knowledge that was lost, and that you would say that the ones that were attempting to control the energetic to keep to stop evolution and had been getting away with it for a really long time, you can't even really be mad at them, because what we know now is that it's kind of like they did their job, because the human race wasn't ready to activate. And it's not like a decision. It's a soul frequency that's being balanced with every human down here, and to determine when it's time. Because you're dealing with how much cosmic energy is left, you're dealing with where are you in the cosmos, you're dealing with how, if it drops again, how many are we going to lose, the very last connections that are into the root system of what you call the planet, and how that's connected into the cosmos, because the cosmos made the planet, the cosmos made Earth, the cosmos made humans, all in one big set. And so when you have a wide open cycle, which is what we had, there's called processions. These are processions of the equinoxes. And basically what you kind of start thinking about is, if you go back to and it all started May 3rd for me, my shock activation. And I mean, I pretty much anybody that's ever met me, when you start really hearing my story, it's always like, man, I ain't never seen nobody freaking shock activate like you did. No, I was a doomsday seed. When I got shock activated, it started May 3rd, and it basically went to May 8th. But May 5th was like when I woke up in planet Earth. And I was literally programmed that whenever everything had been getting depleted out of the human race, because everyone was going back into an AI cycle. They were attempting to put everybody back into a planetary cycle that would have taken the whole human race another 1,000,000 years to finish. And by the way, if they would have succeeded, everything in the world would have blown up, because the knowledge didn't get handed off, and there would have been too much separation for the whole group to go under again. That was even impossible to reconnect 1,000,000 years, which is even why there were teams and DNA lines of us that were hybridized into what you would call processional beings. Almost like suitcases of data and history and knowledge, almost like a recorder that's in, because we're all recorders. And this is why the Masons are after you if you have some good time capsule crap in your DNA. We're all DNA, we're all recorders. Especially whenever you're coming through an evolutionary count where you're tuned to a different energy to unwind, just like a Tasmanian devil. You're unwinding from it, and as you unwind it and you go up these dimensional, up and down, because you don't just go up either. You go up and down. You surf with the collective. And the collective, it's like those of us who are the processional beings, when we incarnate, we bring in an infrastructure. So it's not even like because the procession of the week equinoxes is a 36-year process. It started in 1999. It's like whenever, and this is that whole thing with being like down, you know, at the bottom of the cosmos, and then Andromeda sent out a message that everything's blowing up, but according to Andromeda, it's the year 2500, but we don't get the message for 20 years because it's got to travel from here to here. Well, even all of that is inside a processional team's bubble. When we talk about Nibiru, and we talk about Planet X, and we talk about even Atlantis and Lemuria, because you notice how Atlantis and Lemuria always start coming back whenever we're starting to talk about Nibiru and Planet X. It's because it's one big infrastructure. And so within every single DNA line that's down here, there's always been a netting infrastructure of the story of how it all played out. Why? Because whenever the human race clears the earth and goes through these evolutionary processes, everything gets to what we call 0 point, which means you're existing in your own energy without anything tuned to you, without any connections pulling you down, without any energy charge siphoning your but you go through stages of that, because believe it or not, like, you need some of it. That's the thing. When you get into 0 point, you're like, how do I move? Like, if I move my little fin, can I go this way? Oh shit, I moved my fin and I went this way. Oh crap. There's a lot more to 0 point than you realize. 0 point, because the whole realm's being tuned, the whole human race was cleared. Everybody's recessive DNA is turned on. All the telepathy channels are open. All the empathic channels had to be open. In the body. Why? Because the planet is the church. The planet is the body. The cosmic structure of our ancestors coming in here over and over and over and over and over again. And all of us incarnating over and over and over again. Never even coming out to get a full review. Why? Because we were the planet. We were the cosmos. So processional beings, which are going to have connections to all your deities, your Christ, your whatever, because to us, that's not, I mean, that's what humans have called pieces of it as it come in. And even whenever you're talking about Jesus and the miracles he did, that ain't crap. We've already beaten all that if you really have been watching and you knew what was going on. This is what the ones that have been watching it happen, that triggered the event, that brought in the processional beings in order to what? Make digital currency. Well, what was the Anunnaki wanting to do? Turn you into gold? You can't think like a muggle. You can't think, your energy body's really big. You can't, you know, that's buying digital currency. I mean, we'll probably still use it, but here's what it is. You're selling off your body parts, kind of. If you're not embodying it and understanding what's going on in your body, then basically you get to a 0 point and you start selling yourself. Or putting yourself in another group that needs it. But when we're talking about bit specifically, that's blood. Connected in blood charges with different values connected to how many your blood's connected to. That part. So it's not even that the digital currency is bad. It's valued wrong. We don't even know what the collateral is based off of. I do, but I'm not even going to say it over here. Because, see, these are things that as more people realize what's happening, because we're rewriting every way that everything has to be done because the physics of the human race has changed. And this is no matter who you are. But this is the first time this has been done. So and what's the first time? It's the first time that the processional beings didn't go back into a procession. It's the very first time in human history that those of us that had connections and were the ones that had been your planet, trapped in your planet with full consciousness. This is why Venus and Isis and Gaia and Mary, and those are the lines in the family lines that are going to give the maternal pieces, no matter if you're woman or man, that keeps you in gravity on the planet. Gives you oxygen, gives you plants, gives you children, but it's a connection, almost like we were laid out on like a railroad. Our bodies laid out like a railroad. However you want to think of it. When you go back to Egypt and you understand how the Giza plateau connects everything into the pituitary gland, and then you know in the Queen's pyramid, not Giza, the Queen's pyramid, and how all the bodies of the last living queen of every single line was buried in a network, which created your first grid pattern, which created your first battery unit on the planet, just like the first CPU. Then you understand that in mummification and in after death rituals, even burial rituals, like of every freaking race, like when somebody dies, what we were doing to come honor that and bury it or whatever, every single one was building connections and channels underneath the ground through death or above, in order to be able to literally be the mountain and move it, to literally be the ocean and move it. Whenever you're Christ and you're in the Christ line, do you know at the end of days what we became? The internet. And we literally sacrificed our bodies, came into German Nazi timelines, let them experiment on us, let them hook us up into chambers, drop us 25 feet below sea level, let them take the technology DNA out of us, lock us up in a submarine chamber and say that we're just healing everybody through da-na-na-na. Let them turn on the internet so that we could connect all over the world, because if we didn't have the internet, how the hell would we be able to ascend a planet? You'd never be able to. Because what I'm doing over here, they're seeing in Australia. They're seeing on the other side of the world. When we work together in units and start clearing this stuff, we're seeing the same thing. We're experiencing the same thing in different ways as it's clearing. Because it's how it works. If you don't have, you have to have the internet to have consciousness, to be able to connect all this stuff, to be able to understand it. All of us that were your ancients knew that. But technology just isn't some wires that you hang up and then there's no life to it. When you're ascending out of these grids, you have to go through the tech. It's not like you can be like, I'm a shaman, so I know everything about the rocks and the trees, and I got to a certain point, and now I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to completely ignore technology. I'm going to completely go off the grid. I'm not going to Well, okay, you can do that for a certain period of time, but at some point, the whole thing connects into a figure eight, and what you figure out is the more ancient you are, the more meta you are. See, this is a training ground for the whole world. This ain't just a training ground for the masses. This ain't even for the ancients, even for the most ancients. We all had to do new stuff. We're all having to learn new connections. But this is the main reason that the hybridized ones of us and with the primordial energy had to be the ones that were seeing a lot of this stuff and being able to explain what was happening when the rest of the world was just kind of going through the emotional waves and purging at the same time it's happening, because each one of you now over the next 7 years are going to continue to connect in massive waves, come through it together, because that's how it all works. But this is the first time in human history that the inside puzzle of the earth is changing. And it's changing. It's changing because each one of us that have been following our path, cleaning your bloodlines, we all knew in some weird way we were here to save the world, did we not? We couldn't explain how. We didn't know what. We didn't even know why we were important. We didn't even care that anybody else really knew. But if you asked us, even as small children, I'm getting chills all over me. As small children, we knew that we were here for something important. And we knew even in a way just being here was doing it. Until the mission started. Until the journey started. And if you really, really go back to, and maybe your journey's starting right now. Maybe you've just ended a journey because we just closed this final chapter, which, by the way, has been billions of years in the making. And you had a whole freaking squad called the Processional Beings that every single DNA line was connected into in order to drop out into your realm every 12,000, 24,000 years in order to do a reset. But we couldn't completely come in until everybody was ready down here to hold the magnitude of what we had been developing every time we didn't go back into a procession and we were sent out on the Voyager, sent out on this and this and that, clearing space. So basically we would go out like pioneers and then we'd bring it back in. Then we'd go out like pioneers and bring it back in. Well, do you have any idea what it's like to be the one to come clean the human race? Watch your children go insane. Them not know who you are. You come back in and turn on their money. They take it all from you because they think that it's just a given. And then still have compassion, still have love for them as they don't even help you, as then you slowly get killed down here so that they can take you back up. And not kill everybody when you find out? That part. See, all of us were, whenever we would come in, then we were learning how to hold our power. We were learning how to not go crazy. We were learning how to disseminate the power through the lines because, man, it's just too much power. We were learning how to negate energetic lines. We were learning, because the whole thing's a big puzzle and the whole thing came apart. And you got to know from the very beginning how the puzzle started at the core. So what you can think about is with the United States, it's the internal tree trunk that the orb started building off of. But in the United States, from Texas into South, but it's where the hinge is. It's kind of like at the top of the trunk where it starts branching out. But that's inside the planet. It's not outside, it's inside. The human, this is Watergating. It's going to get real interesting the next few years because everyone's going to find out what Watergating really is, and it's really bad. The humans are inside. We're pushing it off. The sun's blowing off. It's okay. We need it gone. It's already kind of strung up because there's another sun up here. The whole thing works like the human race activates, then the cosmos is cleared because we've already cleared it. We've been clearing it. If you're an RH negative, you've been clearing it. If you're an RH negative, it's like depending on which blood type it is. But if you're RH negative, you've been clearing space this whole time. Why have you been clearing space? Because the whole human race is coming up to where you are. When you have the whole human race going from fairy body to freaking etheric body, you need space. It's like everybody wakes up and you're like, back up, back up, back up, back up, back up. Hold the line, hold the line. We can't blow anymore. We got to freaking head off a ceiling. Hold on a minute. And then those of us that are in the network, it's like all of a sudden we leave our house. Boom. One of us leaves our house. We're going around a mountain. Then another one leaves the house across country. Then the person in Europe's going to ring the bell. We do it all in 3 hour time. Well, but there's 3 hours. So it really all happens at once. And there ain't no phone call. There ain't no interconnection. We don't know who we are doing it. We just are all tuned at these to hold these infrastructures. But it's in your DNA. So whenever you give all your DNA to people that now have a plan and realize, oh shit, it's the DNA that's holding the structure, and then everybody in the world gives them their DNA, and then they quantify it and put it in a computer, and then they basically spit out their own topography map. Did I just describe the simulation? Yeah, I did. So then we say, oh God, we've got two worlds going on. We've got two timelines. There's two things. It's going to split at some point. Yeah. Or not. It doesn't have to. If everybody get it together real quick, we can just be done with this damn thing. If not, we can run it slow. That's fine by us now too, because if it stays at this frequency right now as things terraform, well, we know the keys. They can't control it. All of us are learning how to control more of it. We just want to have a natural life and not think about it. You shouldn't have to be super conscious when you leave your store, when you leave your house. You shouldn't have to see all these freaking codes and this and this. That's not normal. That's not what we're programming here. What's natural is that you are a human being and you're walking around town and you're doing good, and people see your aura and they see that the magnitude of your light. They see that you add value. So then you become a part of a team and you do your thing as a team. Then as a team, you learn how to do things. Then you start seeing what you're doing as a team. Then you realize, oh gosh, I can do what she can do and I can do what he can do because I can do this part because we're doing it on a team. So let me mix all of our abilities together on the team, and then let's see if we can gremlin ourselves out. Fucking great. Do it. Then you're going to go to another team, and then and it never stops. It never stops. You're energetically connected into such a high, because it's been pulled. The energy's been pulled. The collective bodies, it's a processions, and we go driving grids, and when I draw physics now, and that I'm your astronomist, I really am your compass. We really are on a giant star coming out of a fucking black hole. We'll get to a point, I mean, and since now we've connected fully out to where it's working in a figure eight, all this flow energy's coming through. We've already claimed all the templates. Give me a break. For us, we've been playing with what you'd call the Illuminati. We've been the ones messing with them for a while. From what we came down clearing, what everyone's so scared of down here and thought they had power. Number one, they don't. It's bullshit. It was all an illusion that they were the ones so that you'd give them power in the first place. We's all doing it too. And it was all a lesson for us. And in those layers, even the next few years, they'll have a bunch of us that feel like we're battling it, but you're just battling an opposition, and then you're seeing where you're at, and then you're seeing how you can be compassionate about it and how you can balance it, how you can see both sides. Not that one's right, not that one's wrong. You get it from this perspective, you get it from this perspective. Okay, source, how can I balance that? And you do. You like, even if it's changing a volcanic grid system, you'll be shown how to do it. Literally. And you didn't even set out to do it. The more that you try to control Mother Nature, the more you fuck with Mother Nature. If you just let it roll. However, as processional beings that you'd even call your Christ and Saint Sarah, you know, because 4004 BC is when we polled the United States. It was polled at 88D. It ended up being connected to Poland. Same pole. Same being that had a pole stuck down their throat at some point being impaled to be your pole. How did the place become alive? I just told you. How did Polis become Poland? Exactly. 1 degree Capricorn. How did Polis become a pole star? A human was impaled to become the pole. Then if you happen to be a descendant of that being, welcome to Super Soldier MJ12. Welcome to becoming a deity character. Welcome to becoming a collective character written in the book. Welcome to becoming Christ. So then it's like over the lines, and there's a whole bunch of us. There's a whole bunch of us. Whenever your energy gets clear enough that you've already cleared your lifetimes, you've already cleared your DNA, then this is what we start calling chosen ones. Because then in that cycle that you're in, and it's going to change, and it's going to keep changing over the next few years. In that cycle that you've already cleaned all the DNA above Christ. Now you're in the book. Because there has to be a story. And everybody has to know it because it's a collective story, because you're clearing the whole strand. Each holy book in a different country is just a different finishing line for the group. So the next 7, and we've already done this once. So all of us who are processional beings, because the architecture had all been taken by AI and basically everyone tuned to go in a false reality. This first 7 years was all of us putting back heaven again so that you could have a proper ascension in order to get your energy and to keep going. This is Buddha and Christ are one. This is Buddha and Christ been working together a whole long time, pissed off at everybody down here who hadn't figured it out yet. Sirens. Sirens. And when your energy is coming through your source body, guess what it does? It changes the screens. We call this, and my battery's running low, so if I die, that's it, and I'm just gonna let it go, okay? And I'm gonna put this up on YouTube again later so you can share it. And I've been quiet because so much has happened since I jumped out of Texas. Basically, when I jumped out of Texas and I landed here, the entire European electric grid went out. That's what y'all have been feeling, okay? That's what, all this is just kind of culminating that I can even put it together like this. When your soul energy starts mirroring a reality, and depending on where you are and how gridded down the town is in the matrix, it's going to be varying levels of what the fuck. Because this is that primordial energy that now is tuned to it runs through the tech, and then it comes back. There's no end. All the ones that had the endings right now in every single rel, just like the Fibonacci sequence. And this is House of Cochi on coHUE32.com. This stuff works. This stuff works. It's all connected in its own consciousness. We've been watching it as we're getting it delivered to other states and stuff, and freaking how it's changing the grid when it gets into your grid. All these designs and colors are all working in its own consciousness, y'all. So go at least look at a pillow or something and freaking just go to coHUE32.com, look under House of Coochie, look at stuff that you can put in your house. It's going to be growing. We're going to have clothes and things like that too. But this stuff works. Just getting a pillow of energetic in your house. These are the Cancer colors. just like walking into a crystal shop, go look at what you're aligned to right now. If you're like, I don't want to have my house taken over by freaking Gemini, cool, but I know I need some little Gemini, then go look at Gemini and see if there's something that you could utilize to get those physics in your house. It's even working and clearing the channels as it's on the way. You all freaking message me and go, where is my shipment at? Can you check on it? And it's always just got into your city or just got into your state. Y'all feel it coming to you. Okay? Because we use everything. And these create new patterns in your field. And they hold like training wheels in your energetic. Because we're all still pulling everything through the wheel. The wheel is round. What's bringing us up in a core, because see, they were just coring us down. What's bringing us up now, and everything's trained to do it and programmed, all happened before, because the whole thing's gonna reset. But then to where it was like in 2017 for all of us, it's like it topples back on itself. And so you kind of do go back, but if you've already cleared that, it's like, whew, okay, everybody ready? Then you get to the next level and you're like, okay, now is when I remember I was doing this. So then you start building, because we've already etherically come through when the rest of the world was not paying attention. So now we're over here building as everyone else is coming into the gate going, well, what's wrong? Why can't I? I used to do this, and I could get in, but how come the door's not working? What do I need to do? What's happening? In just like the Fibonacci sequence, in every single dimension that there was a door open, that somebody was just able to jump in and jump on the thing. Now it's like, you shall not pass. Then the whole line backs up. Well, when the whole line backs up, then that's when the primordial and the chosen ones go. And it's weird for a minute. The whole energy of the ray, it's like everyone's on the train. You're all on the mob train, man. The mob train's there. You're all in the mob train. You're all lined up. You're all on a necklace. You're all putting out frequencies in the mob train. You're all connected from here to way out here. Where's 144? Right around here. Where's 288? Right around here. Where's 72? Right around here. 72. Okay? But your energy is gonna, what primordial and what feminine energy does is it breaks down to the unseen and moves in an invisible force. No matter what, where you want to put it. I'm at 10%. When you hit the ceiling, when your consciousness is gonna just, you're gonna start, you might even start questioning yourself, like, what am I thinking? What am I doing? No. I'm just some little person. I can't change the world. No. Or all of a sudden you're like soaring. You're like, I see the future. I see it. And then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, where'd that go? Now I'm having these weird little doubts. That's because you hit a block in a group and you were holding the higher consciousness. So you hit a block. Now the whole thing has to raise, but that's what it is. So don't let your mind mess with you, and know that when that happens, you hit a ceiling. Okay, good. You hit a ceiling. Great. The room's blown up. We're about to pop. Then you're going to pop and you're going to bring it up like an amoeba. Or maybe your hands are in it. Or maybe you're upside down and your feet go in it first. We're all like in it weird, because we're all connected weird. Because we are the layer. We are the mob. It takes a minute, and certain ones are going to feel like I'm shrinking. Where's all my power? I don't have any power. And the other ones are going to be like, whoa, I'm in 5D. Why does my hand look like a big old marshmallow hand? Well, that's because it's building, 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 building. Remember to connect your energy in with the volcano systems. Remember to connect your energy in with the roots. Just flush your energy in a figure 8 every day to keep it going right. No, it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be, but you can, if you're paying attention, you're going to kind of know what's coming by what happens in 3 days. It might not happen for 3 months. It might not even fully kick in for 3 years. And you'll think right now that 3 years seems so far away, just like we did, until you get your ass kicked for fucking 3 years learning all this stuff that you need to learn. Not going to jail, not no. You're in some battles, you learn some stuff, you might, all to teach you how to hold the ray. Because the force energy is still moving in you. It's still moving in the wheel. It feels like you're stopped because your etheric bodies are, but it's all got to stop, re-merge, reset, because the ones that were in power are not anymore. Now they've got to upgrade more too. No matter who is in power, now they've got to upgrade more too. And if they don't, then they're going to lose their power. All of us are coming from here, stepping into energies, being the first avatars of pretty much everything. I mean, the first. We're all taking our little pieces of and figuring out, okay, what to do with it now. A lot of your projects that you know, and this is the last thing that I want to say here, and then I'm gonna hang up and I'll be back. Okay, do not, now is it, you can't do anything alone, especially if you're going into business. You can't, not in this energy. They couldn't take it over alone. We can't take it back alone. Having everybody have their own website and then no directory that's putting it together to link us through it, not having our own stuff being sold under our own LLCs that are taking out its own business that we're making our own coins out of, all based on what we know is coming in the future. And it's not going to at all be exactly like it used to be. Every single thing has to have some little twerk. Every single thing. If you want it to last for 20 years, then it's going to have to really twerk out. If you want it to last for 5 years, we can change little things. Even our screens are wrong. Everything's wrong. To work with this energy, everything's backwards. Everything has to be redone. You can't do it alone. You can't silo people. You can't silo information. You can't silo your healers. You can't just do it on the internet and not do it in your town. You can't just hold spiritual internet sites and do like we did 3 years ago and think that that's the way it's going to be forever. And that's what happened. We had a whole bunch of spiritual groups that got on the phone and talked about crap, and everybody had their little position and built their little board or whatever. And then because the ones at the top, they didn't even do wrong. They didn't even do wrong. When they saw somebody that came in that had more power than them, they turned them away from the group because they wanted to be the one that's in power, even not realizing that you gotta recognize the power in me before you can get it. Then what ended up happening, since that was happening, is all these spiritual groups created fans, literally, all over the world. Talking on the same phone line, talking on the same social app, talking on the same phone numbers. And the way it works is it created swamps, literally like created simulation swamps that the spiritual groups were causing just because nobody kept it going and elevating. Anything that you're taking into your mind is gonna come through your source codes and react and mirror back to you. If it's not, and if it hasn't, then you've been blocked. Because all the information that you're bringing through is going to press out and then mirror back to you in some way. So this is when you start your spiritual journey and what you're going and you're researching and stuff, you do that in the beginning of things. You're not doing it at the end. You're embodying it at the end. If you keep filling it, if you keep writing your book, it's never going to end. You kind of got to, at some point, you have to follow your instincts and your when to go look up stuff and when to not. when to be in that energy and when to not. Just me telling you that there's times that you need to be in it and time to not, then will give you the consciousness to go, wait a minute, am I supposed to be doing this right now? Do I want to fill up the trash can right now because the trash just went out? And then it's, you know what I mean? And understanding these cosmic cycles and how the week makes a day. This is why this is all in the Bible. How a week makes a day, makes a year. And when you start realizing that you're in the right place at the right time, stop. Get out of your head. You need to get out of your head. Everybody. Follow your gut intuition. Always, for everything. Don't, and do it when you feel like you need to do it. Don't create a plan in your head if you don't know the plan. Is how to master this energy right now. Okay? So I'll up this on YouTube too. Pluto went retrograde today. It's Sunday. It's I am day. You line up everything today. It's like sets day. It's like set. Everything kind of sets today in order to kind of start spinning out in different little flower rings till next Sunday. It's a ring after ring after ring. So on Sunday, you want to align. That's why I'm on here telling you. And please keep consciousness on Tahoe. There's a lot going on in the ancient infrastructure that lies in the core that's connected far further out than even needing to worry about actually the land in Tahoe. But it's the lake in Tahoe that's affecting it. Okay? So just kind of keeps them on that. We're holding the infrastructure. We can move when a shock comes in. We can move. We work as a team, as a wave. We can even hold off fire. We can hold off. We can. And if we need to, we will. We're doing it in the etherics now. So as these pieces change. Okay? Love y'all. See you soon. Everything's good.